Because we're decent human beings.
Yes.
And that's how our video starts, because we're decent human beings. Okay, so last night for your homework, you had to write the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of the following statement. I also wanted you to write the conditional. Who thinks they can raise their hand and tell me what the... Okay, Drake, tell me what the conditional is.
Animals that bats can fly. I got
What?
Can I do it? Can I do it?
Travis?
If bats are animals, then they can fly.
Okay, could we have also said it another way?
Yes.
Jarvis? Take a point, Travis.
Animals that then they can fly.
Yes! That's what I wanted. If an animal is a bat, then it can fly. Alright, so Drake, you were close, but I wanted if-then for the conditional. Okay? So if-then needs to be a part of the remix, the conditional. Alright, who thinks they can tell me the converse? You two have already answered. Curtis, tell me the converse.
If they can fly, then
What is they? What is it that's flying? No. There you go. Okay, so try it again. If,
If an animal,
no.
so if an animal can fly, then it is a bat.
Yes, if an animal can fly, Blair, then it is a bat. Okay, so first, is our conditional a true statement?
Yes.
Yes, because bats can fly. Alright, is our converse a true statement?
No.
Because what other animals can fly?
Birds.
And bugs and pigs and turtles, etc., etc. Alright, what about the end of... Curtis, take a point. What about the inverse? You've already answered. No one else can... Cameron, since you're talking, and I'm sure it's about discussing the inverse, why don't you tell me what the inverse is? No, I want you to tell me the inverse for this statement, because you did your homework, so your notebook should be open to your homework.
Justin said he that was my push-up.
It is 5 push-ups, and I need you to tell me the inverse.
The inverse is a bat. An animal. Oh, yeah. If it's not an animal. You gonna help me out there? An animal is not a bat.
Okay. If an animal... Don't y'all dare tell him. Okay. Look at you go. Take a point. And now do your push-ups. Who are you broing and duding? Okay. Alright. Who thinks they can do the contrapositive? Somebody at Ravenclaw, do the contrapositive for me. What did you just say?
I said your wall is stupid.
We don't use that word one, and it's a wall. It can't be. Just do your push-ups. Alright, Ravenclaw. Somebody at Ravenclaw tell me the contrapositive. Y'all are Ravenclaw. I need you to tell me the contrapositive. What does the contrapositive mean? You're not even looking at your notes. Like, what's the no? The reverse it and add not. Okay, so reverse the conditional and then add not. So tell me what it would be.
If an animal cannot fly, then it's not.
Fantastic. Take a point. All right. If an animal cannot fly, then it is not a bat. Dun, 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 dun. All right, do the same thing for example 5. Hustle movement.
Miss Esther,
Yo.
if I could say upset, but the other way around, will you do my push-up?
Yeah.
Can you say it?
You can read my scribble. If two angles are complementary, then their sum is 90. Did we get that for our conditional?
Similar.
Yeah.
I put it-
Something to that?
I put the sum of two angles is 90.
I said if the sum of measures of two complementary angles, then it equals 90.
I say if you measure two complementary angles, then the sum is 90.
Okay. So those are all similar to mine. Yeah.
Are the two angles measure 90, they are complementary.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what
Okay. So either of those work, right? Or any of those work. But you have to, this one is not as straightforward as the others. You have to kind of move stuff around to make the words work. So using mine, since mine is written up there and I'm going to be writing, can someone tell me the converse of this conditional? Y'all have already answered. Let's let someone else answer. You have already answered. Caitlin. Yes. So if, let's do the sum of two angles is 90 degrees, then they are complementary. The way you said it was, if two angles are 90 degrees, then they are complementary. That makes me think that the measure of both of them is 90. Does that make sense? So you have to be careful of how you say it, because it's not if two angles are 90 degrees, it's the sum of two angles gets you to 90. Okay. What would the inverse be of mine up here? Take a point. Well, someone else at your table answer. Make someone else at your table answer, since you seem to be the only one.
If an angle is, if the sum of two angles is 90 degrees, then it is not complementary.
Good. Take a point. All right. So if the sum of two angles is 90 degrees, is not, then, wait, what? Now you've got me confused. That's the contrapositive. So the inverse is if two angles are not complementary, then their sum is not 90. Right? Okay, so this is the contrapositive. Then,
The sum is 90.
if the sum of two angles is not 90 degrees, then they are not complementary. Don't let him back in, he's a killer. Okay, so then the inverse, I'm serious, let him in. I'm just kidding. Alright, so that's the contrapositive. The inverse would be if two angles are not complementary, then their sum is not 90 degrees.
That's not nice.
Okay. Alright, now, did anybody start their study guide last night?
No.
Hey, good job. Two of you, take a point for your team. Did you have any questions on your study guide?
I didn't even look at it.
Well, let's look at our study guide, and then we're going to do this logic reasoning if-then statement that is going to help us do our contrapositive some more. Because y'all scare me a little bit. Yes, take the G. Caitlin, what was your question? You figured it out? Pardon?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I thought you said on the study guide. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, well, since we didn't do our study guide, why don't we work on this, and then when you finish this, you can do your study guide. So read the directions. You can do it on a separate sheet of paper or on the back. Talk to your group. Work together. If you want to divide and conquer, divide and conquer. Does everybody understand? Make sure you read the directions. Does everybody understand? All right, go. Good luck. May the force be with you. I would divide and conquer. So can anybody tell me what a counterexample would be? Ainsley?
Okay. If two angles are supplementary, then they are the sum of 180.
Okay, but give me a counterexample. Give me something that proves that false.
That is
So if I draw an angle, right? If I draw two angles, and I say that this is A, this is B, C, and D. Alright? Is this an obtuse angle?
Yeah.
So what could we call this? Give me a degree that you would want this to be. 140. Okay, so if this is 140, what does this one have to be for them to be supplementary? 40 degrees. So they're not equal. Dun, 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 dun. That proves it false. Does everybody understand now? So you don't necessarily have to write words, you can just draw me a picture. If a figure is a square, then it is a quadrilateral. True or false? True. What about number 5? Why would what would be what would what would be a counter example? A what?
A rectangle.
A rectangle, yeah. So that's false. A rectangle would prove it false. What about number 6? If a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then it is a rectangle. Okay, what's a counter example? Are you having a remix problem too?
Yeah.
Okay. So a square could be a counter example. What about a rhombus? Do y'all know what a rhombus is? It's like it's one of those thingies with a side. Yes, it is one of those thingies with a side.
It only has one pair of parallel lines, sides, right? It's like
So a rhombus is all 4 sides are congruent, but no right angles.
oh yeah, that would, yeah. That's it.
And then a square has all 4 right angles, all sides congruent. Alright, number 7, in a plane, if 2 lines are perpendicular to the same line, then they are parallel. That is true. Because what do we know about perpendicular lines? What about the slopes?
They're 90 degrees.
That has nothing to do with slope.
No, they're parallel. They form a right angle. 2 right angles.
What about the slopes?
They're
Starts with an O.
obtuse.
Perpendicular slopes has nothing to do with angle measure. What about the slope, y'all? Oh, I'm so disappointed in my children from last year. Opposite reciprocals.
I was thinking
And if they're perpendicular to the same line, then that means that they are parallel to each other because they both have opposite reciprocals to that line. So that's a true statement. Now I'm sad. Number 8, if a quadrilateral is a square, then it is a rectangle.
That's true. True. Don't leave me hanging here. True sometimes.
Are all squares rectangles?
Yes.
Are all rectangles squares?
No.
Which do you think it is?
True. Yes. It's true. I'm pretty sure it's true.
If you can provide me a counterexample, do it. Okay?
What if it's just
A quadrilateral has 4 sides.
Like a
Where is rectangle? Yeah, but they.
Is a square a rectangle or is a rectangle a square?
They're the same thing. They are the same thing. They all have 4 sides. I mean, they both have 4 sides.
Yes, they all. Squares all have 4 sides, but rectangles.
it still has 90 degrees?
Yeah, they all have 4 sides.
A square.
That's just like.
If you can provide me a counterexample, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You have to figure it out. I'm not going to tell you this one.
It's true.
Then go draw on the board.
It's not. It's true. It's not. You tell me it's true.
Ooh, I know.
This is equal to this. That is not. That's half of it. That's not true.
It's not
Okay.
saying equal, it's saying a quadrilateral.
Right, it's not saying, it's saying if a quadrilateral is a square, then it is a rectangle.
Oh, no, that is not true. Oh, I thought I
If a,
Does it mean
It's not saying they're equal.
if a square is quadrilateral and a rectangle is quadrilateral too, or is it
you tell me.
It's saying
So, if a quadrilateral is a square, so we have a 4-sided shape. If it is a square, then it is a rectangle. Can you provide me a counterexample?
Don't have to be. You can't.
It is. I don't know why, but my heart's racing.
Alright, so both of these are quadrilaterals.
Yes.
But those are 2 different shapes. A quadrilateral classifies both of them. But a square is not a rectangle.
Is a rectangle a square?
No.
No.
No. It's not.
So, do you think this is a false statement?
No.
Then put that and draw me a picture.
Where's the rectangle?
If you think it's true, then leave it as true. You decide. I'm not telling
Are
you
you
this
ever
one.
gonna tell us the
No.
answer?
Well, tomorrow. Manana.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Now, my gift to you is a token of my undying affection. If you can do 2 and 3, those will count as bonus points towards your test. If you can do 2 and 3, those will count as bonus points towards your test. Does everybody understand?
Like tonight.
No, this is due the day of the test. 1 through 8 is a separate grade, but 2 and 3 are going to be counted as bonus points towards your test.
Alright.
Okay, does everybody understand?
Yes.
When is our Unit 2 test?
Thursday.
Thursday. When is our perfect squares test?
Friday.
When is your logic project due? Your perfect squares test and your logic project are Friday. The Unit 2 test is Thursday. So when would this be due for bonus points?
Thursday.
Thursday. I would work on your study guide because tomorrow we're going to do a review game. Does everybody understand?
It's true.
Maybe a Kahoot, maybe at our tables where we compete.
I'm not really not
Does the winner get anything?
It's only like what?
Bragging rights.